You've probably heard that flying is safe, but you may not realize just how mind-blowingly safe commercial aviation has gotten in the US in recent years. In the 2000s, flying was about 750 times safer than driving per mile. However, it has gotten even safer since then. More people in the US have been elected president this decade than have died in commercial plane crashes. Only one person has died since 2009, and it was from an engine explosion. The plane landed safely and everybody else survived. Even if your plane does crash, there's still a 95.7% chance of survival. 0 people died between February 2009 and April 2018, despite over 700 million passenger segments flown per year and 6 trillion passenger miles total. In 2006, a risk communications instructor from Harvard calculated that there was a 1 in 11 million chance of dying on your flight, but since then flying has gotten so safe it's beyond human comprehension. If we use American statistics for this decade so far, you have a 1 in 6 billion chance of dying each time you get on a plane. That means you could fly a normal once per year for 6 billion years before dying. That's older than dinosaurs, Earth, and the entire solar system. It's nearly half the age of the entire universe. Distance-wise, you could fly over a light year before dying. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. Your life is about 2.5 billion seconds long, so by getting on a plane you're essentially risking 4/10 of a second of your life, which is minuscule in comparison with the time you spend flying and the actual cost of the ticket. Now there are some important things to note about this. This is for commercial flights in the US. General aviation like small aircraft and private planes is more dangerous, but it's still relatively safe. Safety should be similar for rich countries in North America, Europe, and Australia, but some places around the world might not have quite as immaculate of safety record. Still, flying is astoundingly safe wherever you go. In 2017, there were 0 commercial jet fatalities anywhere in the entire world despite over 4 billion passenger segments. That means not a single person in the entire world last year died from a commercial plane crash. It's hard to think of something that you're less likely to die from. But what about terrorism? Well, there's one terrorist attack for every 16.5 million flights, so I wouldn't worry too much about an intentional crash either. Hijackings are actually much less common after 9/11 and peaked in the 70s. Before 9/11, people hijacked planes for ransom, negotiating power, and to escape oppressive political regimes. If you were a passenger on a hijacked flight and you didn't get in the way, you would probably survive after a stop in Cuba. After 9/11, the whole mindset changed, and as little as 40 minutes United 93 was delayed. Now if your plane is hijacked, you do whatever you can to not let the hijackers get control of the plane, even if it means crashing it into a field. This significantly diminishes the usefulness of hijacked planes to both terrorists and more traditional hijackers. There's a reason flying is so safe. Pilots and air traffic controllers are well trained and follow very well thought out procedures. Airplanes are packed with technology to avoid accidents and are extensively tested. Every time an accident does happen, it is analyzed and failures are identified. Procedures are modified internationally and steps are taken to ensure that the same mistakes don't happen again. Many things have to go wrong in order for a plane to crash. It is due to the evolution of these procedures for over a century that has allowed flying to become so safe today. Still, 43% of people have some fear of flying and 9% are so scared they refuse to fly. A big reason for this is the counterintuitive fact that plane crashes are so rare they are newsworthy. You don't hear when there's a car accident in Europe because they're so common it would be impossible to report all of them. But you do hear when there's a plane crash. The tendency for the news to report rare events makes people see these rare events as common and more common events as rare. Don't let individual stories distract from the bigger picture of how safe flying is, or anything for that matter, from violence to wars. It is astonishing that traveling 500 plus miles an hour, 6 miles above the ground, sitting on thousands of gallons of explosive liquid is one of the safest things you can do on Earth, but due to prudence and good engineering it is. What you can take away from this video is that it probably isn't even worth a second of your time to worry about a plane crash. Whether the odds are 1 in 11 million or 1 in 6 billion, both of those numbers are pretty much 0 compared to the 1 in 600 chance of dying from cancer in the next year, or a 1 in 400 chance of dying from a heart attack in the next year. If you're really so scared of dying, skip the airport Cinnabons and go for a walk in the terminal while waiting for your flight. Thank you for watching.